We are going to be working out some volume problems today. So it says, what is the volume in cubic inches of the top part of Jacob's refrigerator? So we just want this top part. It's kind of hard to see that there is a top and a bottom, but we just want the top part. So the length is 36, the width is 35, so that's 36 times 35. The height is not 70 because we only want the top part of his refrigerator, so that would be 25. So we're going to multiply 36 times 35 first. 36 times 35. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 3 is 15, 16, 17, 18. We put down a 0 when we move over to our tens digit. 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. So that is 1,260. But we're not done because now we have to multiply 1,260 by 25. I'm going to run out of room there, so I'm going to come over here. 1,260 times 25. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. We scoot over to our tens digit and we put down a 0. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. We add our partial products, and we get 31,500 cubic inches. 500. Now, part B says, what is the volume in cubic inches of the bottom part of Jacob's refrigerator? So we're still going to do 36 times 5. Now, I'm going to work smarter, not harder. I already know 36 times 5 is 1,260. Okay, so I don't have to work that out again. I already know. But what am I going to multiply 1,260 by? I want the height of the bottom part. This is the height of the whole refrigerator. I want the height of the bottom part. So I need to subtract 70 minus 25 to get the height of the bottom part. Well, 70 minus 25 is 45. So now we're going to take 1,260 and multiply that by 45. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. We scoot over to our tens digit, so we put down a 0. 4 times 0 is 0, 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So the bottom part is 56,700 cubic inches. Part C says, how much greater is the volume of the bottom part of the refrigerator than the volume of the top part? How much greater? That's like how many more? That means subtract. So I'm going to take 56,700, which is the bottom part, and I'm going to subtract the top part, which is 31,500. So when we subtract, we get 25,200 as a difference. And that's going to be cubic inches. They didn't write it there, so I'm going to write it there. I worked out these problems. I did it wrong. That's why you see these marked off. But I did it wrong, so I edited that part out of the video, and now we're going to do it correctly. So we're going to start over with the problem. Ashwin and Dora each start with a cube made up of smaller centimeter cube blocks. They each try to use some or all of their cubes to build different prisms. Okay, so we need to know that they're starting with a cube, so we know that cubes are all sides the same length, and they're either going to use some or all of those cubes in their prism to make new prisms. Alright, so Ashwin begins with a cube with an edge of 4 centimeters. So if her cube that she begins with is 4 centimeters, that means her cube is 4 by 4 by 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So her cube that she starts with is 64 cubic centimeters. Examine the prisms. Which prisms will Ashlyn be able to build with this cube? Mark all that apply. So she has 64 cubic centimeters that she can use, and she's either going to use all 64 cubic centimeters or she's just going to use some of the 64 cubic centimeters. So I already have the length, width, and height for each of these prisms. We're going to find the volume of each of them. So A is 2 times 7 times 4. So 2 times 7 is 14, and 14 times 4 is 56 cubic centimeters. We have 4 times 6 times 5 for letter B. Draw a line right there. So 4 times 6, or let's do this. 6 times 5 is 30, and then 30 times 4 is 120 cubic centimeters. Then we have 5 times 4 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 times 5 is 100 cubic centimeters. Then we have 4 times 5 times 7. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 times 7 is 140 cubic centimeters. 40 cubic centimeters. So if she only had 64 cubic centimeters to start with, which of these could she have built with those 64 cubic centimeters? Well, she could have only built letter A because it's the only one that uses 64 or less, because remember, she's going to use all or some. So this is the correct answer. Now, part B to this is Dora begins with a cube with an edge length of 5. So Dora's cube is 5 by 5 by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 5 is 125 cubic centimeters. So now we need to find the volumes of A, B, C, or D to see which one uses 125 cubic centimeters or less. So the length is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3. So 3 times 8 times 3, which is 9 times 8, which is 72 cubic centimeters. 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 5 times 4. That's 15 times 4, which is 60 cubic centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4 times 6. That is 24 times 6, which is 12, 13, 14, 144 cubic centimeters. And then letter D, we have 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 times 5 times 7, which is 10 times 7, which is 70 cubic centimeters. So we want the ones that are 125 cubic centimeters or less, because that's the cube that they are starting with. They take that cube that's 125 centimeters and they take it apart and they build a new cube using all or some of those cubic centimeters. So they can build A, because that uses 125 or less. They can build B, because that uses 125 or less. And they can build D, because that uses 125 or less. So we are finding volume on these prisms, but we have different measurements or different units. We've practiced this once before. We're going to continue to practice it. So the easiest thing to do, since this is centimeters and these two are millimeters, is to change the centimeters to millimeters. So we need our King Henry chart: kilo, hecto, deca, unit, deci, centi, and milli. And we're going to go from centi to milli, so that's one hop right. So that would be 12 instead of 1.2. So we have 7, 12, and 5. So 7 times 12 is 84. And then 84 times 5 is 420. 420 cubic millimeters. All right, we have 1 foot, which is the same thing as 12 inches. So we have 14 times 18 times 12. 14 times 18 times 12. So we're going to do 14 times 18 first. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1 is 8. 9, 10, 11. Put a 0. 14. And that is 3, 5, 253. And then we're going to multiply 253 times 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Put down a 0. 3, 5, 2. 6, 3, 10, 3. 3,036. 3,036 cubic inches. All right, we have yards, yards, and feet. So we're going to take these feet and convert them to yards. 21 feet is blank yards. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. So when we divide 21 by 3, we get 7 yards. So we're going to multiply 10 times 7 times 16. 10 times 7 is 70. So then we're going to multiply 70 times 16. 7 times 6 is 42. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1,120 cubic yards. All right, number 4. We have meters and 2 that are centimeters. However, if we convert this to centimeters, we're going to have to convert our answer back to meters because it wants our answer in cubic meters. All of these were fine because that's what they wanted our answer in, but this one wants our answer in meters. So we're going to go ahead and convert these 2 centimeters to meters. So centi to unit, that's 1, 2 to the left. So if we move 2 to the left and 2 to the left, we have 6 times 7 times 11. So 6 times 7 is 42. And then we have 42 times 11. And when we add our partial products, we get 462 cubic inches. All right, we have feet, feet, and inches, and they want us to put it in feet. So 24 inches is 2 feet, because there are 12 inches in a foot. So we're going to multiply 14 times 2 times 6. Well, I can go ahead and do 6 times 2 in my head. That's 12. So I can do 14 times 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Put a 0. That's 8, 6, and 1. That's 168 cubic feet. All right, now we have here, we need to change millimeters to centimeters. So milli to centi is 1 hop to the left. So if we move 1 hop to the left, that's 10. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'll do 9 times 10 first. So that's 90 times 13. That's 0. 9 times 3 is 27. 9, 10, 11. 1,170 cubic centimeters. So for the last 4 problems, I want you to pause the video. You can unpause the video when you're done and check your work. So you should have worked out the last 4 problems. You need to check your answers and make sure they're correct. If they're not correct, work them out again. If you cannot figure out your mistake, shoot me an email, or you can ask me in a Zoom meeting or office hours. The last 2 problems are composite volume. You designed a garden for your plot on Minecraft. The garden blueprint is below. You need to determine the volume of the garden so you can buy enough topsoil for the garden. Your friend says the volume is 1,260 cubic feet. Is your friend correct? Explain. So we want to calculate the volume of the garden by breaking the garden into 2 rectangular prisms. Be sure to show your thinking with a drawing, equations, and reasoning. So I'm going to cut this vertically. I'm going to shade this one right here. So I have a blue and a white piece. My blue piece is 2 by 5 by 6. 2 by 5 by 6, which is 10 times 6, which is 60. My white piece, I cannot use this 7 because it is blue and white. So I have to subtract this 2 from this 7. 7 minus 2 is 5. So my length is 5, my width is 5. Let's go ahead and write those down, 5 times 5. Now my height. I don't have any heights on these white pieces. I only have heights on the blue pieces. Well, the whole height is 6, but this height right here is 3. So if I take 6 minus 3, that would mean the height of the white piece is also 3. So we have 5 times 5, which is 25, and 25 times 3, which is 75. So we're going to add 75 and 60, which gives us 135 cubic inches. So we calculated the volume by breaking it up into two prisms. We used a drawing, we used equations, we used reasoning. However, we're not done because it asks us if our friend is correct. Now, some of you might be thinking, no, our friend is not correct. But we still don't know because this says cubic feet and our answer is in cubic inches. So we have to take 135 and convert it to feet because right now it's in inches. So I know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I am going to divide 135 by 12 to see how many feet that is. Now, I should know right off the bat that it's not going to be 1,000 because if I'm going to take 135 and divide it by 12, I'm going to get a smaller number than 135. So, no, my friend is not correct. The volume would be less than 135 cubic feet. All right. The city needs to fix a decision of the sidewalk at the town green. A sketch of the broken sidewalk is below. The city planner proposed to the mayor that the city needs to order 320 cubic feet of concrete to fix the sidewalk. Is the city planner correct? Be sure to show your thinking with a drawing, equations, and reasoning. So this is in cubic feet, and all of our measurements are in feet, so that's good. This is kind of hard to see because it's very dark black, but I'm going to cut it right here, and I'm going to shade this piece here. All right, so we're going to call it blue and black, and since they both start with B's, I'm going to have to write the words. So my blue piece here would be 2. That's my length, 2. My width is not 10 because this 10 is both blue and black. So I'm going to have to take this black piece off of it. Well, what is this black piece? The black piece is 2. So if I take 10 minus 2, I get 8. 2 times 8 times what's the height? The height of the whole shape of everything is 1. So 2 times 8 times 1 is 16. Now we're going to do our black piece. Our length is 8, our width is 2, and our height is 1. 8 times 2 times 1, which is also 16, which is 32 cubic feet. So if they need 320 cubic feet, is he correct? No. He only needs 32 cubic feet, not 320 cubic feet. If you have any questions about what we did today, please shoot me an email.